that was part of a larger project on teaching global history. We brought together historians who were doing innovative work in whatever their area of the world was, teacher educators who were interested in shaping up how history and social studies were taught, and middle and high school teachers who were interested in doing kind of more innovative approaches to curriculum. What we did was to work together to build backwards planned units with shared essential questions, shared enduring understandings. Everything was benchmarked as we had to, in most of the states we worked in, to COMMON and the state standards. And our goal was to teach the children, the middle school and high school students we were working with, historically rich concepts in ways that would engage them and motivate them and help them feel like they were part of the historical process. This particular project that we did, we were working with Brittany in a Title I school in Brooklyn. That was the focus of a New York Times series that some of you may have read a few years ago. It was on a little girl named Dasani who lived in a homeless shelter. The school, that was a large population of the school, homeless shelters and housing projects. So it was very much a school with children who were reading below grade level, who were not as engaged in the learning process because of their experiences of not having been reached a lot of the time. So we, this particular project was part of a unit that our historian was Greg Brandon, who does a lot of work on Latin America and particularly Guatemala. And what we did in presenting this documentary was to follow up on thinking about U.S. interventions in Latin America and misunderstandings between the U.S. and Latin American people on conceptions of democracy. We began by looking at the Mexican Constitution and its kind of social democracy bent, and then thought about how the U.S. Politicians misunderstood social democracy for communism throughout the 20th century history of Latin America. We introduced a documentary that was about Nixon's, then Vice President Nixon's visit to Caracas in 1958. And this was after the kids had spent a lot of time pouring through primary source documents and really trying to understand CIA involvement in Guatemala, oil involvement in Venezuela, and sort of just the large U.S. presence through United Fruit, which is now Chiquita, throughout Latin America. So we introduced this documentary and asked the kids to read this documentary, and with the critical lens that we had helped them develop. What we'd like to do now is to show you this documentary and ask you to think about the words that jump out at you. It's pretty short, but what words jump out at you, and what's the larger narrative that you hear being presented about this, this visit from Nixon to Caracas in 1958?